The stories you've never heard.
Who did Suzanne Hill famously slap?
The jokes behind the jokes.
What would happen if I did a great big fart?
For the first time ever on Ash, Lutzy, and Susie O'Neill,
I just peed a pants.
we go behind the lap.
Welcome back. It's the Producers Podcast. Nick and Lockie wrapping up. Jeez, what has been a huge week on the show. 9:28 on a Friday morning. How's the body, Lockie? I was going to say, usually it's just the mind that's just hurting, but right now I think we're physically sore as well.
My body is really sore, like unexplainably sore, and I don't know why. Maybe it was the hobby horsing. I didn't partake in any of the hobby horsing, but maybe it was just being out there yesterday.
You did some setting up, and you and I, we know what it's like to be one of the street teamers here. I actually was one, but you know, setting up those events, and we've got some very heavy props, it turns out, here at Nova, and well, we all pitch in to make sure the great events that happen, and gee, I didn't think we'd be. I don't think I'm this sore and tired today, because you and I from yesterday went from the show straight out to Eagle Farm for the Hobby Horse Championships. All the action on our socials right now. That sounds like Alicia coming in the studio.
Is Alicia.
Of course it is. Hello.
Once again, joining us late, but that's fine.
That's all right. Alicia was out there with us too. Then back in. Lucky you had to do the rest of your job. I was frantically cutting up the video. Then,
Did you go home yesterday?
Very briefly. Very briefly, and met with the real estate agent, and straight back out again. Well, I had to swing by Office Works to get the final touches on my costume, and then under the Halloween party, and then back home again last night, and here we are. We return.
How long do you think yesterday? Not that you know we're counting, but how long do you reckon you were doing work stuff yesterday?
Even when I was talking to the real estate agent, I was thinking about how I was going to cut some of the videos.
Okay.
I actually had that, like, I was going, no, you really need to focus on what you're doing right now.
You're going to add that to your timesheet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd say why not? I might take a day in lieu Monday. We'll see how we go.
Sounds good.
Alicia, now, I told this to Alicia last night, and this is so funny. I didn't recognise Alicia in her costume last night. I didn't recognise her until she actually came up and just started randomly talking to me. And I was like, yeah. Oh, shit, that's Alicia.
Yeah, you literally did like that little, you know the meme from The Office where Angela comes up next to Dwight and he's like, shit, that was me and you. He just thought I was a random listener.
So random. I was wondering why in a couple of times when we were kind of like standing around like a group of gazelles, we were just going, I was going, who's this chick? Who's this like little Sharon Strzelecki standing around with us?
Full makeup on and then a wig. So
well, the wig, because you have blonde hair.
Yeah.
Well, it's brown but dyed blonde, right? Is that?
No, it's a dark blonde, but I dye it blonder.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have brown hair.
Well, it's
why do you want brown hair?
No, I imagine. No, it's a form. Like
I
it's a
have
form.
had
Of,
brown
it's a
hair
form of. It's not like anyway. We don't need to get into hair
let's.
color chat. I'd say
I have blonde hair.
I'd say that dark blonde is a form of brown, but that's
Well, it's a hot take.
It's literally
controversial.
called dark blonde.
Might get you cancelled.
anyway.
I have blonde hair. And then
But
last
you were
night,
wearing
I was
like
wearing a dark wig.
a dark wig, but it was still relatively short. So I actually thought you were some teenage boy. Just
Really?
somehow found his way onto the cruise. I was like, "What? Who is this? Whose child
Good
is
to know
this?"
that I resemble
That's
a
Steve,
teenage
the cabin boy. He doesn't leave the Oasis. Go on, Steve.
Yeah.
Fire up the burners.
It was a bit hectic for me because I accidentally had a nap in the afternoon.
Oh.
I didn't
Yeah, you
mean
nearly
to.
didn't make it.
I nearly didn't make it. I laid down to pet my cat, and
There's your first error.
I know, and then
The
two and
cat
a half
suckered you
hours
in.
later, I woke up at 5:20. We were due to board at 5:45.
Yeah, sure.
I
Very-
somehow have to get a whole face of makeup on, a wig, and a full outfit.
Given that, amazing effort.
Yeah,
from
well
you.
done.
Thanks.
Amazing
Thank
effort.
you.
I also got the. Well, I mean, last week, as I said, I thought the cruise was last week.
Yeah, that was
that was terrible from me. But
hilarious.
I turned up when I thought, like, just no one was there, and I really quickly saw that Suze had put up a story on her Instagram, and she, Lutzy, and a few people from sales were drinking at the pub. I'm like, maybe I'm here early. I'm gonna go find that pub. I just went over to join them.
You just found what pub they were
and then
at.
I think that's the reason that everyone was late.
Oh,
Because you
No, not me specifically, but I didn't certainly push them there. I was like, and they go, how'd you find me? I'm like, I made up some stuff.
That's a big. You weren't invited, Nick.
Oh no,
What are you doing?
100%. But I didn't care. I was just like, oh well, fair enough. I'm just gonna go join them over at the pub. But I was like,
good for
I saw them like, I'll bet they're at the Port Office Hotel. So he's like, how do you do it? I'm like, I just made up stuff. I'm like, I could just tell from the way the bar looked in the background. I recognised the font of the chalkboard. Like,
You're one of those TikTok search and find
yeah,
people.
TikTok, do your thing. I'm like, no, honestly, I just worked out where the closest pub was.
Yeah.
that's much better. Rainbolt, that's a TikTok reference. A guy who plays what's GeoGuessr, and he can identify anything. I feel like you're the Brisbane.
I genuinely can do that.
You're the Brisbane Rainbolt.
Guess that's my new hyperfixation, GeoGuessing.
There you go.
I greatly enjoy that.
There we go. We're gonna hear more about that, I'm sure. Alicia, I don't think you were the only one who only just made it, because I heard Mitch this morning. He was telling me how he almost missed the boat.
Me and Mitch were actually on the phone to each other a couple times, and like while I was driving in frantically, I got a call from Mitch, and he was like, "I have just realised that I don't actually know where I'm going." He's like, "I just came to where I thought it was."
Well, yeah, because
it's not
when
here.
There's two places, I think.
Yeah.
So when we did the live cross a couple of weeks ago, when we first announced that we're going on the Oasis, they are usually docked out at Murarrie near, I guess near, there's like a little
Brewdog and out there.
Yeah. And so he went out there to check out where the Oasis was and kind of do a little brief tour.
Right.
Which makes sense. Like, I would just assume it was there as well if
I've caught a boat from there before.
And so Mitch was honestly 10 minutes away from there. Like I think he was at his son's school thing, which is, not too far from there.
Yeah.
And so in his mind, he has all the time in the world,
yeah.
and he's chilling. But what ended up happening, obviously, is we weren't out near Murarrie. We were in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Near the Botanical Gardens.
Just under the new Kangaroo Point Bridge, which, Alicia, is not open yet.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Because that was Mitch's story. He almost missed out as well. And then I also decided to have a nap in the afternoon. Woke up at like 10 to 5 going, oh, okay, well, the event kind of starts at 6 o'clock, which means that, the boat probably will be leaving at 6. I actually didn't know. I should have known what time we were leaving. And so
Smara only told us 4 times, mate, but it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's and you know what? I'll own the fact that yesterday my brain was caught up in hobby horsing. I just was deeply involved in the hobby horse.
Tough to let go of.
Exactly, and it means a lot to me. Anyway, I woke up from my nap and I was like, I've got to throw this outfit together. What can I do? Put on my costume. And started driving towards the city, and I'm going, where am I going to park? Because I didn't want to pay like $50 for parking.
No,
at some parking facility.
To be fair, I parked 2 streets away from where we bought it, and it only cost me $9.
I lime scooted.
Well, I'm disappointed because I think I spent more money in parking and scootering. Because what happened, I decided to go park at the top of Kangaroo Point Cliffs, going, hey, there's a brand new bridge that I'll be able to cross. It'll go almost directly to where the boat is going to be.
In theory, great idea, because when it opens, Lockie,
Yeah,
it
that'd
will
be
do
great.
that.
It will. So I basically park at the top of the cliffs as close as I can, like right outside Joey's, that restaurant.
Yep.
I sprint down the stairs, and I'm seeing the fact that the Oasis is right next to the bridge.
That's frustrating.
And
You
I'm
can see it.
going, yes,
I've nailed this.
what a master play. I haven't realized exactly how far down the bridge is on the Kangaroo Point side, though, because it's not anywhere near Joey's. It's actually much
not,
closer
yeah.
to the park.
To Storybridge Hotel, yeah.
Yeah, and the Storybridge Hotel. So I've started sprinting. I'm sprinting in these dress shoes that are not made for comfort. I'm sprinting away, and then I get to where the bridge is meant to be, and I realize that it's closed, and I've only got about half an hour.
If you really wanted to get up onto that bridge, you could have.
I mean, I could have. I did consider it.
Okay, good. I wanted to know that thought crossed your mind.
And I was like, oh, I wonder what the penalty of crossing this bridge, despite it not being open. And like, it's pretty obvious seeing someone cross a bridge that is quite obviously closed. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to get across somehow. Thankfully, caught the ferry. But then there's also all this construction between where the ferry...
Yes, there is.
Where the ferry...
The old Eagle Street Pier, yeah, that's all...
And I hadn't taken that into consideration either. So I'm, once again, sprinting. I've got mad blisters on my feet at this point.
You've had an absolute mare here.
I really have. And I've gone, oh, do you know what? I'll catch a scooter. I'll also scooter right now. I've then gone down along the path, realized that the path underneath the bridge is closed. So once again, I then have to double back around. I then get into the Botanical Gardens. You can't park the scooters in there.
Oh, yes, I had that problem.
And I think I only just made it onto the boat too. So note to self, wait until the bridge actually opens before embarking on a mission like this.
I'm surprised that for the first time ever, it was everybody else that was late, and Ash, Lutz, and Suze were like right on time.
Ash was really early.
Ash was really early.
I mean this with the greatest respect to you, Nick. In my head, I was like, this is something Nick would be doing.
Oh, 100%. Oh, no, that is me to an absolute T, Lockie. I am actually the opposite to offended. I'm very glad you thought of me like that, because that's exactly what I would have done.
And in my mind, the entire time, I was like, oh.
If I'm late, Nick's later.
Yeah, well, I was like, this is something Nick would be doing.
I had actually mentally prepared to run and jump off the jetty
Yeah.
No, I for sure thought Lutzi was going to be late because he's always late to things, and I was like,
technically
he's
was.
going to miss this boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But anyway, guys, we made it on the
We
Oasis.
did make it.
Great boat.
Yeah.
Great
Oh.
setup.
It was awesome.
And look at it, and to everyone, like everyone dressed up. Everyone.
They
had it.
went hard. Like
Yeah.
the costumes were
So
amazing.
I hate half-assed costumes.
Yeah.
You may as well just not wear one.
Yeah.
But also don't turn up without one.
What- well, no.
No, Lachlan looked exactly like a referee.
I committed to
His
the bit.
costume was a basketball referee.
Yeah.
Right?
I
You-
went.
and you bought the basketball.
I got a ball. I got a whistle.
Yeah.
I wore the because I could have just worn black chinos and whatever shoes, but I made sure that I was looking officially like an NBA referee.
So you did have a prop. How long before you chose to abandon the prop? Because props are an interesting one.
He actually held on to it.
I held
all
it the
night.
entire night.
He
I
actually
was scootering with the ball underneath, wedged under my arm.
No, I
So-
respect that. I respect that. No, very, very nicely done.
The best part of the night for me was that everybody thought that the security guard was in costume,
That
and he
was
wasn't a
very-
real
that
security
was
guard.
very funny.
Yeah. Next time there's a party, I'm gonna dress up as a security
Security
guard.
guard.
I mean, no one's gonna believe that someone with this build.
Oh, actually, you look like one of the international students that they put at the cricket. They just sit him out in the sun and.
That would have been a great costume for you, a ball boy.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say an international student at the cricket. And I was like, that's questionable.
Yeah, it is.
Ball boy. It just came to my head there.
No, fair enough. But no, amazing night. Shouts were, they were sensational. Great guys. One looks exactly like Trent Dalton as well,
Yeah.
which came up in the show, and I don't want to say I took credit for it. I was given credit. I didn't accept the credit. But Lockie, you made the observation the first time around. It didn't come back up in the show, so we'll take this opportunity now. You were the one that made the comparison between Trent Dalton and the member of Shouse.
Thank you. I don't know the member of Shouse's name. I would like to see them play one another, or vice versa.
I'd love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Trent Dalton on the decks.
I would love that. Well, that's the thing. Like, I tagged Trent in that post, and he's like, "Holy shit! Both of them look like me."
I
Did
think,
he respond?
yeah.
That's
I think one looks way more like the
100%,
other.
yeah.
One looks way more like him than
One
the
looks
other
like Trent. One looks like Trent without an industry server fund.
His fees are lower. We also, speaking of people responding, Pitbull,
Yes,
the one and only
Mr.
Mr. Worldwide.
305, who started
so
Mr. 305. He's now Mr. Worldwide. English, Spanish.
Bit of everything.
And that's the thing. Like those girls that dressed up were Australian Olympians. They were the water polo players.
Did they?
They won silver in Paris.
They came to see me at the end of the night, and it was a very embarrassing interaction because I thought she was Ellie Cole.
Oh
who's
no!
Yeah.
Oh,
So did
She
you
just
stop it.
introduced herself as Ellie.
Oh,
and
Alicia,
an
that's-
Olympian.
Well, she said,
No.
that's okay. And look, that's the thing.
I was like, oh yeah, we're interviewing you in a couple of weeks. She was like, no.
Oh,
I was
that-
like, oh,
I just saw three girls dressed as Pitbull. So I had, and that's the thing about costuming.
you don't know who they
You
are.
don't know who
Yeah.
people are.
Yeah, that's
Which
true.
which is great. It's a great equalizer. So I was talking to Deb from BRC, who Lockie we were with earlier in the
Yep.
day, and they're actually talking about hopefully having like a fancy dress day instead of like
Oh.
yeah,
Wow, that would be fun.
that'd be really cool.
That would actually.
It's a great equalizer. That's
Yeah.
that's a great thing.
Can I ask how did those girls, the water polo girls, did they call up to be? I was trying to work it out during the show. Did someone invite them?
were they
or-
invites? Actually,
I
well,
assume
and
they got
the message
invited.
she sent me said thanks for the invite. So they may have been invites.
There you go.
Oh, I wonder whether that was with us on the show, or because there were some people who were invited, like clients, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think they might have just been invited because they were, like friends of Sue's or something, maybe.
Oh.
Could have been talent agency. Not too sure, but for those listening, that's how these events kind of work. Like a grand final or something like
Yeah.
that. You have certain ticket allocations. So on bigger parties, we may have it can be extended out to maybe partners, but if not clients, sales staff. Sometimes there's invitations, and
Yep.
these days there are influencers at these events. That's just how that works. And then you have the tickets for the Nova listeners.
And the majority of
It is,
tickets or
absolutely,
invites
majority,
is
yeah.
what you want to. I think we would call them invites.
I'm very
anyway.
happy with how the breakdowns look at the moment.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I think we'll keep them going
It's,
forward.
it's good to have a review every now and again. Every time we have one of these events, go, is it 98% listeners and then 1%?
Yeah, some people are saying it's too corporate. You just want, and it's like just for the fans. Like I
Exactly.
get, it's like the prelim final versus the grand final. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Hobby Horse Cup though, I
Yeah.
think we just need to debrief that
Well,
because
it's such a big day. We've crammed
Yeah.
so much in, but so much has happened. Blistering hot day out at Eagle Farm.
very warm, very
Very
warm.
warm.
I'm not sure if it was warmer last year or this year, but it just setting up alone, I was like, oh, this is too much. I can't be bothered to even think about
Well,
dancing around for 45 seconds.
And because so many of our supernovas were dedicated to setting up the Oasis, it means we were down to only one for the hobby horse.
And she's a newbie.
She's our newest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The freshest supernova. So she was prepared last year. I don't know if you remember this, but last year we had supernova Angus, maybe rest in peace. And
he's not actually dead.
He's dead to us.
Can I just say he just
hearts.
left the company? Yeah.
Yeah, but once that happens, yeah, there's very few people that we still refer to not dead. Anyway, we had him last year, and he one of his strengths is just being able to talk about sport and be able to just add some mayo to it. So we're like, hey, Gus, would you be willing to be one of the judges? And he did a great job.
Didn't he?
Now, Reese, she thought that she was going to have to, take Gus's role that he played last year.
Lester, there's one girl who's done 2 shifts for us ever before.
Hello, NFL. Can't be quarterback this weekend.
She was prepared to do it.
She was really prepared. And, I don't know when the news was broken to her that she wasn't going to be doing this, because we had a bit of trouble. We were driving from Nova to... I guess Eagle Farm, and you and I were in the same car. She was in a car by herself. She was just a little bit flustered.
Sure.
There was
busy day.
Busy day. She didn't have her phone wasn't working. The navigation wasn't working. So I can only imagine that she would have been flustered trying to get there, make sure that she's there on time, and then go, I now have to perform as well on top of this.
I know that conversation. I know that exact feeling.
But Nick, you were the one to be one of the judges, and I do have a criticism. I think that you.
Yeah, I mean, you normally do, so it's fine. I'm actually used to this.
Yeah, well, no, it's good to be.
Like the compliment sandwich, it's like the other way around, Lockie.
Yeah.
It's 2 criticisms, little compliment to keep you going, just build you back up, to punch you down again.
I just thought that I liked the judges and what they had to say. Just very high ratings.
Well, Lockie,
I think they were very good competitors, though. I'm not blaming the ratings.
You came out of the gates and there were 9s and 8s issued, and I just go,
yeah, look, mate, maybe a little bit too heavy, too early,
Nah,
but we then had to scale everything to that system.
And that's the problem.
I know, and that's why I had to do a lot of maths at the end to try and work out some averages. But I'm happy with it. But look, you have to remember, these are the best in Brisbane. Okay, they're the very
that's
best.
true.
They're not going to turn up, give mediocre performances, and I want to celebrate these people because they gave it their costumes, their commitment to the bit.
Did very well.
Horse pun there. But they managed to absolutely... My brain's not working. I'm hurting here. I'm actually really hurting. But no, that was sensational. Again, people could half-ass this. They turned up. Costumes were amazing. They got so into it. I mean, some of the routines were actually choreographed to the music, which I thought was great. Others were just pure, unadulterated enthusiasm, and I was so happy with what we saw.
Well, I did something that we didn't do last year. Last year, we just played the song from the beginning and gave them 30 seconds. And this year, I said, we should give them a little bit more time to play, because last year, what happened was that 30 seconds is up very quickly.
It is, yeah.
It's both a really long time if you're trying to do some sort of dance thing, but it's also a short time because you might not get around to all the obstacles. You might not get through all the moves that you want to get through. And so I said, we'll extend it out to 45 seconds. The other thing we'll do is we'll let you pick when it starts. So that way you can actually rehearse with the song as well. And I don't think Dill, our audio producer, was too happy with that, because he sent through originally the start of each song like we did last year.
Yeah,
and
right, okay.
I went back to him and I said, hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
So three of the contestants actually want their song to start at 42 seconds or 51 seconds, and he was like, "Oh, I've already done all this stuff. I've got so much work to do." But I think it was worth it. I think the product.
I'm very protective of Dylan
Yeah.
as part of our AV union.
But I think at the end of the day, the quality of the hobby horsing really shone through. Because we saw some fantastic stuff.
We really did. And coming in, I did not know who was going to win by the end. I was like, well, I really had to go down and do the numbers.
Is the video up yet, Nick?
Video is up.
I'm excited to see that.
I'm excited to see that as well.
Please enjoy.
Shout out to Heidi, to Sam, to Chris, and to Kat, who all showed up. It can be, if you're not someone who's super extroverted, it can be a little bit embarrassing to just...
They all embraced it. They
were
all great.
They were fantastic stuff. Once again, a little bit disappointed we didn't see more pool action. Some swimming in the pool, but...
As I said, I wanted to see if anyone would use the podiums.
Yes.
Yeah, I made sure it was close enough to the course to go, will someone improvise?
Well, this is the annual Hobby Horse Cup. So
Yeah.
if you're listening to this and want to get involved next year,
Yeah, start training now.
This is the podcast you want to listen to, and this is the insight that you want to hear.
Of course it is.
As to how we might be voting and judging next year. So lots of pool usage and maybe some usage of the podium.
I'd love to see it. Alicia's gone walkabouts here. She's pretty done.
I think we're all pretty
I
done.
just broke Susie's pen, so I thought
Oh, no.
I'll dump the evidence before she knows.
Good thing she's finishing up soon. Next week though, big week. We're going to be on Thursday going out to Yeronga Pool. We're going to be doing the show live from Yeronga Pool, and we're going to be giving 7 listeners the opportunity to swim with / against
near.
Susie in proximity to,
adjacent to for the start.
for the start.
And actually, like before, so all that detail will be up very soon. How you can register, how you can be a part of it.
You can register now. It's
Oh,
already up, bud.
Yeah, good.
You've been so focused on doing all this video stuff.
I really
You
have.
missed the fact that it's already up. You can go right now to the Nova Player app or online at Nova FM. Register to swim with Susie O'Neill next Thursday at Yeronga Pool.
And I'll have the artwork for marketing maybe next week.
No, I think the artwork's done.
Hopefully. Very quickly, because you mentioned this earlier, we've got a special 1-year anniversary. Alicia, yeah.
What?
What's been your 1 year with us?
Yeah, like 2 months ago.
Yeah, but we didn't touch on it,
Well,
so we're
thank
doing
you.
it now.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes, I have been here for over a year now.
Yeah.
So
And what's the highlight of this past year?
when Lockie was off for surgery? No, I'm kidding.
Lockie,
No,
if
kidding.
anything, mate, that just shows that you take some days off. Like she's clearly saying she's fine without you.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty tired at the moment. So I'll see you guys next Thursday. We happy next Friday?
that's good. Yeah, you know what? It's too close. You may as well just take the full week if you're going to go that far.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Alicia will be doing the show by herself next week.
No,
And,
you know that I appreciate you guys so much, all of you.
Do you like that she said you guys and didn't make it specific to me?
Well,
'Cause-
and you, of course you, Lockie.
Sure. Anyway, that's going to be it for...
Yeah, I don't need your validation. I'm good. We'll see you next week.